On a seemingly ordinary night, a massive Boeing 777 departed into the darkness, carrying 239 souls. But this flight would not reach its destination. The disappearance of Malaysia Airlines flight MH370 remains one of the most terrifying mysteries in modern history, an enigma that shattered confidence in global aviation. Stormy oceans, flickering radar screens, a sudden silence on the radio. The aircraft simply vanished into the vast, indifferent night, instantly creating a chilling atmosphere of fear and uncertainty. Malaysia Airlines flight MH370, en route from Kuala Lumpur to Beijing, was a routine red-eye flight. But on March 8, 2014, with 239 people aboard, it disappeared without sending a single distress signal. What transpired in the final moments of MH370 is central to this mystery. The transition from normal flight to complete disappearance is jarring and inexplicable. The final voice transmission, calm and routine, came from the cockpit. "Good night, Malaysian 370. Moments later, the plane crossed into silence. After the handoff between air traffic zones, the Boeing 777 suddenly deviated from its path. Civilian radar contact was lost, and the plane mysteriously turned back across the Malaysian peninsula. The initial search was chaotic, based on fragmented data and conflicting reports. Investigators struggled to piece together the flight's final, erratic action. As the search intensified, disturbing clues emerged: a sudden turn, the shutdown of communication systems, and satellite data suggesting the aircraft flew on for hours. The most compelling yet baffling evidence came from the Inmarsat satellite network. Hourly, automated handshake pings, confirming the plane was still flying long after it disappeared from radar. Given the lack of definitive wreckage, the case quickly bred a host of theories, ranging from technical failure to deliberate human intervention. One of the most disturbing theories centers on the possibility of pilot involvement, that the plane was deliberately steered off course in a controlled descent into the vast ocean. Beyond pilot action, investigators explored possibilities of catastrophic mechanical failure, a sudden incapacitation event, or even hijacking, giving rise to countless, often conflicting, conspiracy theories. Years of searching yielded little until small fragments of the aircraft began washing ashore, providing the first tangible proof of MH370's fate. The discovery of a wing fragment, known as a flaperon, on Reunion Island confirmed the plane met a violent end in the ocean, but revealed nothing about what happened in the cockpit. For the families, the debris offered little comfort. Their grief is compounded by the profound lack of closure, with the location of the main wreckage still a haunting unknown. The MH370 saga stands as a stark reminder of human vulnerability and the limits of modern technology. Despite advanced tracking systems, vast surveillance networks, and a massive global investigation, the most basic questions, where and why, remain unanswered. The search may have ended, but the terrifying truth of MH370's disappearance continues to drift in the shadows, aviation's greatest unsolved mystery. 8 years later, the disappearance of Malaysia Airlines flight MH370 remains one of the greatest aviation mysteries of our time. On March 8, 2014, MH370, carrying 239 people, simply vanished from radar screens over the South China Sea. However, the sequence of events leading up to its disappearance suggested something far more deliberate than a catastrophic failure. But investigators soon discovered something deeply disturbing. MH370 did not simply disappear. After losing contact, the aircraft made a precise turn back across Malaysia, a maneuver that appeared controlled and intentional. Air traffic controllers scrambled, but on the radar, the aircraft's path was undeniable, a deliberate deviation from its planned route. Then came another terrifying discovery. The aircraft's transponder had stopped transmitting. The transponder, crucial for civilian radar identification, went silent, making the plane virtually invisible. In the dark cockpit, this action suggests an intent to evade detection, leading many experts to believe this was no accident. Once the transponder was manually deactivated, MH370 effectively vanished from the main system responsible for tracking commercial air traffic. However, the story didn't end there. Military systems were still tracking the ghost flight. Military radar reportedly continued tracking the aircraft for hours after it vanished from civilian systems, following it across the Malay Peninsula. The radar logs revealed the plane's precise path, heading west, then south, far over the Indian Ocean, long after its scheduled arrival. Yet, despite tracking the unidentified aircraft for hours, no fighter jets were scrambled, and authorities remained inexplicably silent about the military data. The deliberate turnback, the transponder shutdown, and the military silence all point toward a calculated sequence of events. These aren't the markers of a routine crash, but of disturbing, intentional maneuvers carried out by someone with sophisticated knowledge of aviation systems. The fate of MH370 remains unknown, leaving us with a powerful, haunting question. What truly happened on that flight, and why? In March 2014, a Boeing 777 carrying 239 people vanished without a trace, diverting from its flight path between Kuala Lumpur and Beijing. The world watched in disbelief as the search began. The key to tracking MH370's final movements came from an unexpected source, the commercial communication satellites. Even after all other communication systems went silent, MH370 continued to send silent electronic handshakes to a satellite in orbit. The terrifying implication of these pings meant the plane had continued flying through the darkness for nearly 7 more hours after it disappeared from military radar. The signal abruptly ceased, leading us from the cold expanse of space to the vast, dark ocean below. This extended flight time led investigators to one of the most chilling possibilities: the ghost flight theory. This theory suggests the aircraft suffered rapid decompression, causing everyone on board, including the pilots, to lose consciousness due to oxygen deprivation. With no one at the controls, the plane continued flying alone on autopilot, a silent ghost flight carrying 239 passengers across the ocean until it ran out of fuel. We are left with the haunting image of an empty cabin drifting silently through the darkness above the Indian Ocean. Attention soon turned to the MH370 captain himself, specifically data recovered from his home flight simulator. Investigators discovered deleted flight simulator routes belonging to the captain, files that were deliberately erased. Some of these recovered routes appeared to resemble remote paths, eerily leading deep into the isolated southern Indian Ocean. Despite this compelling discovery, investigators never reached a definitive conclusion about the pilot's involvement, leaving the findings open to interpretation. The focus shifted entirely to the vast search area in the remote and stormy waters of the Indian Ocean. Years passed with billions spent, marking one of the largest and most expensive search operations in aviation history. Despite all the resources and technology employed, the main wreckage of MH370 has never been found. Somewhere beneath the profound darkness of the Indian Ocean, the full truth may still be silently waiting to be uncovered. The disappearance of MH370 remains one of the world's greatest modern mysteries. Some mysteries are never solved. They simply disappear.